Bootcamp is about to begin. Rise up, it's time to log in. LP Army will teach you the way to be LP warrior starting this day. We live for the fees we make. Soon it is profits that you will take. The LP Army marches strong. The best in soul and now we sing our song. We live for the fees we make. Soon it is profits that you will take. The LP Army marches strong. The best in soul and now we sing our song. We are LP Army, rise to the sky. Dynamic fees, our battle cry. LP warriors will never die. Their own bow we will fly. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Spot could be asked, use them all. Winning's the task, we heed the call. Bootcamp, join our ranks so tight. Listen to the Goose Gang and gain your might. We will print and we will earn. Quest through dangers, tokens burn. Join the ranks of the brave and bold. Story of the LP Army told. We are LP Army, rise to the sky. Dynamic fees, our battle cry. LP warriors will never die. Their own bow we will fly. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Rise. Take the course and earn your role. March with us and earn some soul. Dodge the rug and join the fight. We gain together LP Army might. Make your position and join the pool. Post your wins with Alex's tool. LP Army, we fight to win. Your journey is about to begin. We are LP Army, rise to the sky. Dynamic fees, our battle cry. LP warriors will never die. Their own bow we will fly. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Take the course and earn your role. March with us and earn some soul. Dodge the run and join the fight. We gain together LP Army might. Oh.
GMet, welcome everybody to Meteora LP Army Bootcamp Day 1, the 21st English Bootcamp. Welcome everybody. Let's go ahead and get this started. Today, we're going to cover the basics, and tomorrow, the next lesson, we'll cover more advanced topics. There may be stuff here that you already know. Just bear with us if you do. So that you know, completing this course won't grant you any airdrop or allocation or an NFT or anything like that. It's just for the education. You can earn a role if you graduate this course, but it's all about the education. That's what we're here for. Here are some prerequisites that you should already have a Solana compatible wallet funded with some Sol. One Sol is good to start with, but you can do less if you need to. You should already know how to buy and sell tokens on Jupiter and a high level understanding of what cryptocurrency is. So moving on to our disclaimer. So we are not financial professionals. This should not be construed as financial advice. Any money you put in, you do so at your own risk, and please don't risk any money that you cannot afford to lose. So yeah, that's our little disclaimer there for you. I am Heavy Metal Cook. I'm your instructor here. I am the Bootcamp moderator. I am one of the LP Army leads. I've been at this for a while, mined ETH, LP'd on Ethereum and Avalanche before coming over here to Sol. Done a lot of things. I love cooking, weightlifting, heavy metal, all that good stuff. But you know what? That's enough about me. I am joined by Photon Magic today. He is one of the bootcamp instructors and one of our new LP coaches. He's going to be helping us out with questions in the chat. So yeah, that's awesome. And I love this right here, Hector. I'm so happy to read that your daughter is joining us. So Hector's daughter, welcome. And I hope that you get a lot out of this course. So yeah. Anyway, getting the most out of this course, please use the chat for your questions. Keep it to the point. We'll do our best to answer them as best we can. And learn by doing. Complete the exercises. Follow along if you can. You don't have to. You do have to complete both days of this course in order to graduate. If you have any feedback, let us know in the Discord. I love feedback. It's how I improve this course, by the questions and the things that people tell me. And I see that Alex has joined us as well. He is one of the LP Army leads and a bootcamp instructor. And awesome guy. Just say hi, Alex. Hi, Alex.
Jam boys.
Yeah, G-Matt. So, all right, so we're going to move on here to the next part. Okay, so these are some resources for you. You can scan this QR code now. We'll show it again later. If you're on a PC, you can use Google Lens in Chrome to scan. It's just some extra reading, extra resources for you, some great Twitter accounts to follow with additional content and all that kind of stuff. I just give you guys a second to scan that if you want. Just save it off and refer to it later. Yeah, super bullish, super excited. I know it's kind of a weird time that I am holding this course today. Just a lot of things lined up this way. That's how it is. All right, moving on. So roles for completing this course, and I'll just explain this because I get a lot of questions about this. There's two Discords, the Meteora Discord and the LP Army Discord. If you pass day one, there's a test that we will share that later. You take that test, submit that form. If you pass, you'll get the bootcamp trainee role in the Meteora Discord. If you pass day one and day two of this course, then you will earn the LP Army private role in both the Meteora Discord and the LP Army Discord. If you fail day one, you get nothing. It doesn't matter if you failed day one and passed day two, you can start all over. But the cool thing is that we have LP Academy. You can take it at any time. So that's how that works. just a little bit of clarity for you guys. All right, so now we're going to get into a little bit of DeFi terms, market making on the blockchain. These are key things that you need to know, you should know. And I'm not going to go through every single one of them. I do have a LP Basics course where I go into detail on each of these definitions. But things you should know here is TVL, what it means, total value locked. You need to understand volume. Volume is king, guys. Volume is a very important term that you need to understand. It's the amount of trading given over a given period of time. It's usually listed in USD over the last 24 hours. Volatility is also extremely important to know how much it's a measure a price, a token, its price going up and down, market cap, all these things. So again, if you don't know these very well, go check out the LP Basics course on lparmy.com/academy. So an AMM in DeFi is an automated market maker, and that's how this happens on blockchains. It's run by smart contracts. It's like a program that runs on the blockchain itself. It's the simplest type of pool there is, and it's just a means to facilitate automatically trades that people do. They buy something on Jupiter, it gets routed through some type of AMM. Okay. You guys should all know what LP stands for. It means many different things. I will move on here. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Alex, for that. That's awesome. So next we come into the CLMM, Concentrated Liquidity Market Maker. AMMs are not capital efficient. I'm going to show you a visual on that here in a second. But the CLMM allows you to concentrate liquidity, and that helps you to earn more fees. Okay. So here's what that looks like. On the left, we have our standard AMM. And I'll zoom in here and we can see liquidity is spread out from 0 to basically infinity. Okay. Well, let's say that all the price action is happening between $30 and $35. Okay. So this is where your liquidity is being actively used. Well, outside of that, the liquidity is not being used. So you're spread out over this entire range, and it's just less capital efficient. The upside to this is that you're never out of range. You're always in range. As long as you have money in there, you could be earning fees no matter what the price does. With the CLMM, concentrated liquidity, it helps to solve that problem of capital inefficiency by allowing you to focus your liquidity where the trading is happening or you think it's going to happen. So we see in this example, we focused most of it between 30 and 35, with just a little bit on the outsides in case the price swings. So that's what that is. There is a risk with that, of course, because if the price swings beyond your liquidity, you stop earning fees. Okay. Now, here's some key points that I want you guys to remember. LPing, you are not staking when you are providing liquidity. You're not trading it. There's some similarities there. Tokens are being swapped one for another, but you are not directly doing a trade. When you're LPing, especially in concentrated liquidity, your assets can all be swapped one for the other. And I will give you some good visuals on this later, but know that, just because you deposited one token doesn't mean that you're going to get all of that one token back. High demand assets, a lot of volume, that's what helps achieve profit. Again, volume is king. One thing that helps you Remember to manage your risk when doing this, especially if you're doing memes. Expect them to go zero. Don't stay in too long. Manage your risk. Long-term tokens are safer to do. It's lower risk, but lower rate of return. It's like going to the casino. The more you bet, the higher the reward. Safer bet, less wrecked. Okay. So now we're going to cover our vaults, dynamic pools, 2 different types that we have. So I'm going to take that down and share a different screen here. Here we go. Awesome. All right. So we are looking at, we go out to app.meteora.ag. That is the homepage here. And we are going to first go up here and talk about the vaults. So I'm going to more and then vaults, dynamic vaults. Now we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on these. I'm covering it for a very specific reason, and you'll understand why in a minute. There's only a few tokens in here. We can see USDC, USDT, SOL, these things. You can deposit money into these and earn some yield. The APY on them is not really the best. There's other places that you could deposit this and make more. But the dynamic vaults, it's used lending in these other protocols such as Camino and Save and so on, so forth. Soul Lend, it's used out there. So, but deposits are very simple. You put money in, you withdraw. That's all there is to it. Like I said, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on it, but I'm going to show you why just here in a second, why that's important. I'm going to go to the DAM V1. This is the first iteration of the automated market maker. And there are a lot of different tokens in here where you'll notice there's only one pool for each pair. Okay. There's a lot of information here. It tells you if it's a volatile pool, a main pool, if it's a stable or liquid staking token, anything that has the little Meteora logo on it, that pool was created by Meteora itself. And so anyway, you have up here, you can search by contract address. You can search by token names. You can have it suggest pools based on tokens that you already have in your wallet. And of course, you can also tell it, show me verified tokens only. And that means Jupiter verified tokens. So if it's unverified, you know, some fresh meme, and you don't want to look at any of those, then check that box and then it'll do that for you. The DAM V1 is not used very much anymore, but it's still, I'm going to show you how it works. And I'm going to open this one right here, the Sol Jito Sol. It's created by Meteora. We see the TVL, the total value locked. That's how much is in this pool in total. We see our 2 tokens, and you'll notice that they are not 50-50. There is a percentage here. So there's 63% of Jito Sol and 36% of Sol. You can hover over this button, copy the contract address, go check it on Rug Check Bubble Maps. These are safety tools we will talk about more in depth tomorrow. But here we see the current pool price, the virtual price, which is a complicated thing to explain. And if you want to know more about it, it's in the Meteora documentation. I believe I've linked it in the Bootcamp resources. What you need to know is that if this number is above 1, that's a good thing. If it's below 1, it is a bad thing. Okay. So we see our 24-hour volume. This is how much volume has come through this pool in the last 24 hours. We have our 24-hour fee. This is how much in fees this pool is generated for the liquidity providers in the last 24 hours. Now, we also see here the 24-hour yield. What is that? Well, the DAM V1, if the tokens, either one of the tokens in the pool is also found in one of those dynamic vaults, if it's found in the dynamic vaults, then you are earning lending yield. So this is being used in those vaults as well without you needing to deposit over there. And so you're earning lending yield in addition to fees. We'll see our liquidity provider fee. This is the rate. That's the fee amount that you're earning on here. So this is 0.01%. There is the protocol fee, and that is on this one, the Meteora created pools, it's 0%. I'll show you a different one here in a minute. There's also something called the AMP. That's another extremely complicated thing. If you want to know more about it, it's in the documentation. I am not going to go into it. We have links to pool charts that take you directly for this pair down here. And if you want to make a deposit here, you have to have both tokens. If you don't, if you want to put in just one of these tokens, because say you don't want to buy it, and you'll see a little warning that it recommends that you don't do that. But I'm just going to say put in 0.01 SOL in here just for giggles. We'll see what happens whenever I make that deposit. Now I made the deposit and I've got $1.42 in this pool. And whenever you deposit into the DAM V1, it's going to generate and put into your wallet something called an LP token. Don't burn that or you will lose your money. We will see here, I want to go withdraw. I click and we will see that I have a little bit of SOL and a little bit of Jito SOL. So what it did whenever I put in only SOL is it converted some of my SOL into Jito SOL to match the ratio here. Okay. One important thing to know about the DAM V1 is that the fees and yield are automatically compounded back into the pool. So you can't see exactly how many fees you've earned. The way you know what you've made off of this is you need to basically write down and record somewhere how much you deposited, and then later how much you can withdraw, and you'll know whether or not you're in profit or loss with that. That's how that works. There is a swap function here. This swap function will swap tokens only within this pool. Now, there's a little warning here. It's telling you potentially you could get better prices on Jupiter. And this is something that we recommend, generally speaking. You'll get the best price if you go swap on Jupiter itself. So yeah, but I'm going to go and withdraw the maximum amount from here, get my money back. Now I'm going to show you one that is slightly different. I'm going to go into this one, this MAGA. This is some kind of meme. We can see some warnings on this. This one is not too dangerous. This comes from Rug Check. It's just basically saying this is a new token. There is this one right here, high supply concentration. The top 10 holders own more than 80% of the total supply. That's a little sketchy. I'm not going to deposit in this one, but you'll see here that this pool actually has something called the dynamic fee. The dynamic fee is triggered off of volatility. We get talking more into that when we are talking about the DLMM, but if a token is volatile, then it'll trigger a dynamic fee, which helps offset any losses. It helps to offset losses. Here, the protocol fee is 20% of the dynamic fee. That is the amount that Meteora is taking off of that. So 20% of that dynamic fee, they take that cut to cover overhead and what have you. We also see something different on this one, the burn option. This is, if you use this burn option, you're basically locking your liquidity into this pool forever. You can never withdraw it, but you can claim fees off of it forever. This is really only used by token creators to just kind of, they lock the liquidity. It builds trust. I don't recommend that you do this unless you are a token creator. Don't burn your liquidity. Is bad time. Okay. All right. So I think we've covered the DMV1 well enough, and I don't see any big questions here. So now we're going to move on to the DMV2. All right. So this is the new iteration of this, and it's a lot more complicated, a lot more feature rich. So we see here, looks a little bit different. We can sort by TVL and 24-hour volume. We have a filter here that allows us to say, only show me verified tokens, or maybe some safety stuff like it's not a mintable token, has no freeze authority, so on and so forth. You can have it go by market cap in a range. You can say, show me only things in the last 1 hour, what have you. There's a lot of things in here. I'm not going to go into all of it. You can even say, show me only stuff from certain launch pads. But you guys can play with that on your own. There's a lot of different types of pools here, and you'll notice, unlike the DMV1, you can have a lot of pools for the same token pair. And the reason for that is because you can have different configurations of these pools for the same pair. I've already got some examples pulled up here. This is the Sol USDC pool, the biggest one. It's got over $7 million in TVL in it. We see our token ratio there, the current pool price, which is right now, that's kind of sad that it's 143. 24-hour volume, 24-hour fee. You'll notice that there is no yield listed here, and that is because the DAMV2 does not utilize the dynamic vaults. So no money in that. It's listing our base fee, dynamic fee. Here on this specific pool, there is no dynamic fee. It's turned off, basically. There's the liquidity provider fee and the protocol fee. This one, it's 20% of the LP fee. If there was a dynamic fee, it'd be 20% of the dynamic fee. But it's 20% of the LP fee there. We see that we are getting both tokens. Now, why is it telling you this? I'm going to show you why here in a minute, what that looks like. Now, you must make a balance deposit in this. It will not auto swap for you. You must make a balance deposit. So we do like that. I put in that much. It's going to automatically select. If I select max here, it's going to choose the correct amount of SOL. And we will click deposit. And now I've deposited money. I've got a position here, 1135. And here, unlike the DMV1, the DMV2, it does not auto compound the fees. You claim them separately. So that's cool. And we see I've already earned a tiny bit. I could claim it at any time if I so wish. One thing that's important, difference between the DMV1 and DMV2. The DMV1, as you remember, I said it creates an LP token when you deposit, which is destroyed when you withdraw. The DMV2 instead creates an NFT. And that NFT actually looks like I'm going to put that up there in the upper right hand corner of the screen. That is what that NFT looks like. It says do not burn. If you burn it, you will lose your money. So don't do that. But yeah, that's what all that is. Withdrawal, swap, lock. Again, we're not going to get into this. You don't want to lock liquidity in there unless you're a token creator. Now, one thing, unlike the DAM V1, the DAM V2, it is configurable programmatically to concentrate the liquidity. You can't do it through the UI, but if you know how to code, you can define a price range on this. Most of them are not. This one is set between 70 and 440, which is pretty optimistic. But anyway, this is actually concentrated liquidity. So this DAM works a little bit better than a standard one. Here's a different pool with different settings. We still have no dynamic fee. We see the liquidity provider fee, but the fee collection token is the quote token only. It's SOL only. So you will get only SOL in this. And so that because this zero, I don't even know what it is, right? Say it's some meme coin, you're not interested in that coin. You only after the SOL. So this will only give you those fees in the SOL. It's not doing a swap. It's really complicated. I don't understand it. I'm just telling you, you're getting only SOL whenever you use this one. This one is not concentrated liquidity. If it doesn't say a range, then it's not concentrated. Okay, here's another example, Slurf. We're getting base and quote token, but there's something called the fee scheduler, and this one is exponential. So we see here, when this pool was launched, it started out at 50% fee. And over time on an exponential curve, it went down. We can see our times here at 24 minutes. It was about right here, 20, 18, 19. And it came all the way down after 120 minutes. It came down to what the base fee is, which is about 0.25%. The idea here is that if you have a brand new token, brand new fresh meme that people are sniping, those snipers are going to pay for that by getting that really high fee. So you can make a lot of money very quickly, and then it comes down in order for you to be able to have a good price for your retail users. Here's a different one where we have, let's see, no dynamic fee, SOL quote token only, no scheduler. Here's another one that does have a scheduler that is linear, okay? So this goes down a lot more gradually over time. And it's coming down, the base fee is about 6%. So that's what that one did. Let's see, is this one any different? Not really. It's got a dynamic fee, quote token, so you're only getting USDC. And this was a very custom setup. That can only be done like programmatically. But anyway, that is how the DAM V2 works. What I'm going to show you now is some finding tools. And so I'm going to stop sharing my screen there and show you guys a different screen. Back on our presentation. Okay. All right. So some DAM V2 tools. One of the things that's really important about the DAM V2, if you're doing memes, you got to be quick. You got to get in there in the beginning, because after that, sometimes it dies as far as being routed through that pool. sometimes not. It just kind of depends. But you're really after a lot of that on those fresh memes. You're after that sniper volume. But tokens also, projects also use it for token launches, and it may be the main launch pool. Meteora did that when they launched Met. The main launch pool was a damn V2 pool. There's a couple great tools that we can use. I'm going to demonstrate them a little bit here. Rocketscan.fun and dammit.pro. You can find these out on lparmy.com. And there's also just Juke Pro. So let's switch to that here. What happened to my screen? There it is. Okay. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is RocketScan. So this is a community tool. We'll zoom in just a little bit here for you guys. So it's a great way to discover tokens. So I'm going to click on token discovery. And it's showing me, it's refreshing every 5 seconds, new things. You have filters that you can set up. Say you're only interested in certain launch pads. There's a lot of different things you can choose from. But just leaving it as it is, we can see new things that come through. Maybe something would, and there's all kinds of pedo stuff. What the hell? But you can check to see if there's a damn V2 pool already existing on these. If it is, you can go directly to it. Looks like there's none yet. There is a link to create one, but we're not going to cover creating pools in this course. But yeah, you can see a lot of different things. And if you hover over one of these, it'll pause that updating. Going back one, or actually here at the top, Meteora pools, you can see existing pools, and it'll show you both DAM V2 and DLMM. I'm going to filter out and just show me the DAM V2 stuff. So we see here like Rismus, we can see its market cap, how many holders there are of this token, which is not very many. The amount of volume, stuff about rug check. If you wanted to go, you could just click right here and it'll take you straight to that pool for it. If that's one that you've said, oh, this looks good. This looks like a party. This one looks a little sus. I'm not going to deposit in that, but that's the idea here. You can use this as a tool to help you find fresh, hot stuff to join. So yeah, RocketScan is pretty cool. The next tool, Dammit Pro. You actually connect your wallet to this, but you're not like you would a Meteora app. You can use it to find pools. Whenever you click on this, it's going to start looking and popping stuff up. So here's things like if you click on this, you could go view that pool. You can check the chart. You can check rug check. There's a lot of different things that you can do. You can even swap into the token and add liquidity directly from here. There's filters, fee scheduler, no scheduler, all pools, what have you. You can pick a lot of stuff. And just like RocketScan, if you hover over this, it'll pause that. If you have a contract address for something, you can input that here and find it. So I'm actually going to just demonstrate. I'm going to copy this contract address, come here to Dammit Pro, enter that CA, and then it's going to find me all the DAM V2 pools right here for that particular pair. And it's just got some information for you. It's pretty self-explanatory, but it tells you, has it got a linear or exponential pool type? what are you getting the tokens in, both or Sol or USDC, the fee rates, and all that kind of stuff. You can also monitor your positions from here. I entered a pool earlier this morning with a small amount. It's not a very good pool, but I did it for the demo. I can see that I've got $28 in deposits there. It actually went up a little bit because it started at 27. I've got 9 cents in fees. Woohoo. Fee rate, all this information here, you can actually close or remove your liquidity or claim your fees directly from this tool if you'd like. So that's pretty cool. Let me stop sharing here just for a second. And go here. All right. Okay, so I am now at Jupe Pro, or I went to Jupiter, jupe.ag, and then went to the Pro tab. You can use this to help find stuff. Like if you want to say, give me the last 5 minutes, filter that there, and then price percentage up or down. So this token right here is up this much in the last 5 minutes. This won't tell you what if there's a pool for it, but yeah. This is just one way that you can find new, fresh, hot tokens. Of course, do your own research on these before you ape into them, but that's just another way to find something to do. Okay. We'll move back here to the presentation because I've got some more things to show you. Let's take that off. Okay. So other ways to find opportunities is right in our LP Army Discord. The DGen DAM chat is where people discuss. They also discuss strategies and things like that. You can find that right in our Discord live chat. lparmy.com/strategies. There is a ton of great strategies from a lot of great guys out there. Just go out there to lparmy.com, go to strategies. You can filter by DAM v2, and there's all kinds of articles that you can read that will help give you some more information to understand how to use the DAM effectively. And then, of course, on lparmy.com/academy, we did an advanced bootcamp right here, the DAM v2. It's more information on how to use it, how to create pools, that kind of thing. Just filter by advanced, and you can go and watch that right there. So that's the DAM v2. We are going to move on. Time check. Okay, we're still good. So here's just a review, the differences between DAM v1 and DAM v2. We covered a lot of this stuff. The one thing that I didn't mention before is if you're here for points, to earn points for season 2 airdrop, the DAM v1, any fees that you earn in there, it will not earn you any points. The DAM v2 will. So yeah, this is, again, I already covered everything else in here, but you can see the difference between the two here. Did that mostly so I wouldn't forget anything. All right, now we're going to get into the DLMM. It's like the CLMM, but better. The dynamic liquidity market maker allows you to shape your liquidity and help you maximize your fee generation. It's got dynamic fees, flexible strategies. You can put in just one token if you wish. You don't have to put in a balanced deposit. You can use however much you'd like. And we'll talk about the zero slippage price bins here in a second. Let's go in here. What exactly is a bin? Well, a bin, simply put, is a container that holds liquidity. A bin can hold one token, two tokens, or no token at all. Once bins are created, they're created at fixed price points, and they don't move from that price point. We can see here token Y and token X. The active bin is the only bin that can have both tokens in it. So that's like that one bin is where the trading is happening. Okay. Now here in this more real example, we see WBTC and CBBTC. We've got CBBTC here in purple and WBTC in teal. This is the active bin. It's got some of both tokens in there. Once all of the CBBTC is sold for this in this particular bin, then the price will move to the next bin. It won't move until all of that is sold for the other. If, for example, this filled up with CBBTC, then the price would move down. That's how it works in the directions. And we can see all of these individual price points along the way. That's what those are. Now, when you're looking at this, you'll see this is a representation of your liquidity in the pool on top. Below, you'll see gray bars that it shows your liquidity plus everybody else's liquidity in that same pool. So you don't own the bins, you're sharing the bins with everybody else who has deposited into that pool. And they're never destroyed. Once they're created, they live on the blockchain forever. Even if they are used, it doesn't matter. They exist forever. Okay, so now we got to talk about bin step. That is, simply put, the difference in price from one bin to the next. Okay, it uses basis points, and there's different bin steps possible. This specific one is a one bin step pool. It's the smallest possible. One bin step means one basis point. That's 0.0001. Okay. The math is simple. We take the current price and then we multiply it by 1 plus the basis points. So 1.0001. And then we get the next price, the next bin. You want to go down, just use division. But that's it simply. Now, this is where a lot of people get hung up, and I have a lot of this information in the Bootcamp resources. So if you need to review this, go on. We're going to keep going with this and give some more explanation on it. Here's another example of a bin step, a 50 bin step. We can see here in this particular pool, we have SOL and IO. And it's 0.01231. The price moved up 1, so we can see it is 0.01237. We did the math there. So the basis points. So the 50 bin step, each bin is wider than the one bin step. That single bin covers a larger price range. The larger the bin step, the more price range that it will cover. So we see here, you see the pattern, how this works, 100 bin steps, all this stuff. Here's a visual example of the difference between a large bin step and a small bin step. We see we have a price range of 169 to 169.25. This large bin step, it only required 2 bins to cover that difference in price. A smaller bin step is requiring 8 to cover that same amount in price. Why is that important? Why not have the same size for everything? Well, there's different reasons for that, and we're really going to kind of get into that. But the smaller the bin step, the more it can move. Okay. So it takes more price action, more change in price in the large bin step for it to move from one bin to the other because there's a greater difference in price. Okay. This is more useful, say, on small in cap, very volatile memes, what have you. Your smaller bin step is used more in, say, things like stables, more well-established tokens, that sort of thing, because those large bin steps, there's not enough price movement for that to work very well. So you need a smaller bin step for it to go through. Okay. Okay. So now, bin steps and base fees on pools have a correlation. They're kind of tied together. You can't have, like, for example, here, a 5% base fee. You can't have that on a one bin step pool. It's just not possible. There's different configurations. This is not all of them. There's a lot out there. But what you need to understand, generally speaking, is the smaller the base fee, generally speaking, the smaller the bin steps are. A larger base fee is usually larger bin steps. There are some small exceptions to that, but not really. A lot of it is like that. Okay. So fee generation here, kind of just adding on to what we talked about a second ago. Each time you move from one bin to the next, that's like a fee event. It can actually trigger something called dynamic fees. The more it's moving through bins back and forth, the more that dynamic fee is triggered. It can go higher. And I'll show you guys dynamic fees here in a bit, but that's what that looks like. A lower bin step pool can capture more volume than a higher bin step. But sometimes you need that higher bin step in order to cover a greater range. Any swaps that happen within a single bin, there's no slippage for the trader, okay? And that makes it more attractive for, say, Jupiter to route that trade through your pool. And I hope that makes sense. You want your pool to be attractive in order to get trades to come through it. If there's no slippage, that's a good thing for the trader. And then in turn, it's a good thing for you. Smaller bin steps, there can be more slippage because it may have to move through more bins for that to happen. All right. So now we're going to get into shapes, deal mem strategies. This is one of the great things about the deal mem. Our first strategy, the basic, is spot. It's an even, uniform distribution. It's what any CLMM out there, that, like, you might find that on Orca and Radium, that's what they operate, the CLMM. It's even distribution across all the bins. We will see here, everything here in teal is Sol, and this, or actually USDC, Sol, whatever. It's an even distribution, okay? The curve, this is usually used to, in your more stable pools, is allowing you to focus that liquidity at a single point. Let's say you think that the price of USDC and Sol is going to stay right around here for a while. If you use that curve, you're focusing more of your liquidity right here. So this is max fee generation. The downside is if the price swings to the outsides, you're not earning as many fees because you don't have as much liquidity in those bins. there's less to trade with, so you earn less fees. We're getting max fee generation here at the top. The bid ask is the inverse of that. If you ever heard the term DCA, this is one thing that's be used. And one of the things that I try to remember or tell people about this is the bid ask is buy low, sell high. That's the idea here. So as the price goes down, you're buying more of the token at lower prices. And as it pumps, you're selling more of the token at higher prices. So trading, buy low, sell high. That's it, right? This is very commonly used in single-sided deployment, but you can use any of these with single-sided, meaning SOL only or the other token only. You can do that. Okay. Now, you can stack strategies. Here's a common one, because if you remember earlier, whenever I said on the curve, when the price swings out here to the outside, you're not earning very many fees. Well, if you stack the spot and the curve together, what you're doing is you're adding a little bit more liquidity out here on the edges, so that if the price does swing, you're still earning a bit in fees, so that you're not just getting nothing out here on the swings. The same thing with the spot bid ask, because in a pure bid ask, here at the smallest point, you're getting almost nothing in fee generation. So by adding a layer of spot, you're able to get a little bit more fee generation. And I'm going to show you guys how this works. And we're going to do that here in a bit whenever I give you guys the full tour. But there's two main goals for the DLMM. You're in a sense swapping, but you're not. But as the price moves from bin to bin, your assets are being changed from one to the other, okay? And you're getting a fee on that. It doesn't automatically rebalance. There's two ways to profit, okay? You achieve a positive return from divergent loss or a positive return from fees. Now, before we continue with more on those goals, we're going to talk about impermanent, also known as divergent loss, okay? This is guaranteed to happen. As soon as you put liquidity into a pool and the first swap that hits, you're going to experience impermanent, aka divergent loss. What it means is the price of these tokens has diverged from the original, your entry point. It's moved, okay? This could be a loss for you. And your goal is to overcome these losses, mostly by fees. That's what you're trying to do. It's guaranteed to happen. Don't let it scare you, but be aware that just because you deposit liquidity and you pull out after some time, you may end up with less, okay? You're hoping your fees offset those and put you into a profit. Here's a visual representation of what I'm talking about here. So we have this pool, Sol Uranus. This is where I entered. I went in two-sided. I did a pure spot. This is where I started at this price point, 0.0933. The price went down. Some of my SOL got turned into Uranus. This red line is where I entered. Now it's here. I have a negative divergent loss here. You also hear it called impermanent loss because it's not a permanent loss until you withdraw. If you were to withdraw at this point, you make those impermanent losses permanent. Okay. I'm actually going to show you something else here. A cool tool made by one of our LP Army members. Let me find it here. There we go. All right, cool. So this is made by GeekLad, and I'm actually going to pop up a QR code for this because it's a very long URL. And Photon, there's a banner with that URL in there. But this is a deal them in position simulator, okay? And it'll help you see what the impermanent loss looks like. So first, we're going to pick a bin step, okay? Let's just pick a 20. And then we're going to use spot. The minimum price, let's just say 140. And the maximum is 143. Okay. Base token amount, we'll say 100. The quote token amount, we'll say 1. Initial price, we'll say 141. And let's go ahead and put it 100 here. See if that helped. That didn't. All right. We can see it's kind of imbalanced here, but what we do here is if we slide this up or down, we can kind of see the position value change, our profit and loss on that. If we go up, we'll see it's going up here. This is kind of like defining the initial price here. We see up, we're up, we're in profit. If we went down, we can see just how much of that loss is. It doesn't account for any fees here. It's just kind of giving you that visual representation of what impermanent loss looks like. Generally speaking, if the price is above your entry point, you're probably in profit. Unless, of course, the price of solar dumped on you. But yeah. Okay. So that's a cool tool. Go check that out. I'll leave that QR code up for a few minutes so you guys can scan it if you want. Okay. We're still doing good. All right. So positive return from fees. What you're looking for is the three main things that you're looking for in order to win here is volume. Volume is king. If you're not getting volume on a pair, don't go into it. You're not going to do very well here. Liquidity depth is very important. If you get into a pool all by yourself and you put $50 into that pool, and so that pool has a maximum TVL of $50, Jupiter's not going to send any trades your way. Okay. So find a pool that's got some TVL, you share with others, you make your pool more attractive. Volatility, that up and down, the more volatility there is, the more dynamic fees there are, that can help you. It's not always what you want. Kind of depends on what you're going after. If you're going after memes or stuff like that, some volatility is good. The downside to extremely volatile means that it could dump on you very quickly and you could lose money, and you may or may not earn enough fees to offset that. If it's extremely volatile, that dynamic fee is going to go way up and can help offset that. It is possible, I have done it many times, to achieve a profit even whenever my position is well below my entry point. I've earned so much in fees that it offset all of that and I still won. Okay. All right. Now here's the dream of every LPer out there is the positive divergent loss. And it's basically you went out of range. All of your tokens were converted into the other token. Like in this one, this pool was called Prophecy Soul. I don't care about prophecy. I care about soul. All the prophecy was converted into soul. And now I have a nice W. I've also earned some fees along the way. This doesn't always happen, but when it does, it's a beautiful thing. Take that win and move on. Okay. One point that I want to point out to you guys is the pool versus position. I'm going to show you guys what this looks like here in a bit. But when you're in a deal-em-in pool, that's all the liquidity together, okay? You don't own the pool. You create a position within the pool. That is your liquidity, okay? Pools once created, they can never be destroyed. They will exist forever and ever. Positions, they are created only when you deposit, and whenever you withdraw and close, then the position is destroyed. It's just an important distinction to remember. Okay, so now let's get into the deal-em-in tour. Woohoo. This is the exciting part, right? I know we're all super excited. Okay. Let's find it here. Share. All right, rock on. So we are going to go to the DLNM. And I am just going to pick a pool here. Let's go into the Met USDC pool. Now we see here, again, you can search by CA. You can filter a lot of different things here. I'm not going to filter anything right now, but we see a couple other new options. We can filter this list by TVL or by volume, but you can choose whether the last 30 minutes and some things in between 24 hours. You can also sort by the 24-hour fee over TVL. Now, I would caution you on using this number. We'll wait for it to load. I didn't mean to click that. Okay. So what it's showing me here is the 24-hour fee divided by TVL. The problem with this number is that it can be somewhat misleading. And the reason for that is because if someone deposits a large amount of liquidity into the pool, then this number is going to go way down because the amount of fees hasn't changed, but the TVL has. It's gone way up. So it's just dividing the same amount of fees against a lot more TVL. So that number will go down. Conversely, like say this particular pool, it's got $3.7 million in it. If $3 million was removed from this pool, this number would shoot way up. So you can use this as a kind of a guide to pick your pools, but don't let it be the only thing that chooses. If you see something that says 9999%, it's probably not a real number. Let me resort this here. Okay. So now what we see here, I'm sorting by the TVL. We can see the amount of volume that's going through here. I'm going to change it back to 24-hour volume so that it's not. There we go. So we see bin step and base fee on these. Which one do we choose? That's a great question. What I'm mostly looking for is more volume than TVL. That's a great thing. If you're seeing like this one right here, this 50 bin step 2% fee, there's not very a lot of TVL in there, but there's even less volume. That's telling me this is not a good pool. This is a bad choice. Someone made a bad choice when creating that pool. Ideally, here we've got $13 million of volume in this TVL, so I'm going to go into this one. Actually, no. I am going to go into something else. Something maybe a little bit more volatile. These are nasty. I don't want that one. Let's just look at this Trump pool. Okay. So we'll give the tour here. This is how much is locked. Here we'll see the tokens. We've got all that. We can see here the Jupiter score. This is really cool. Kind of just helps you know whether or not something is kind of safe, but still do your own research. We'll see the liquidity distribution over this price range. This is the liquidity in there right now, and you can zoom in and out, changing these. We'll see this is a 50 bin step. This is the base fee. The max fee is always 10%. The protocol fee on DLMM is 5% of the dynamic fee. Always. There, the dynamic fee, again, it's all based on volatility. There's not really any volatility on this token, the Trump token, so we can see that it's not changed. We'll see our 24-hour fee, pool charts, all that great stuff, right? And then here at the top, we'll see where we've deposited our liquidity. If you click this, it'll switch it to SOL. You can see the amount of fees earned over time in those two different tokens. If we want to create a position here, we have a couple different options. If you use the autofill, it's going to try and balance the tokens. Okay, no matter which shape you use, it's going to try and do both tokens in a balance. If you want to go only one-sided, you uncheck autofill and put in just the amount of that one token. If, let's say, you wanted to do something else, oh, not that much. So you can do whatever kind of balance that you want within these things, and set it however you'd like. Change your volatility strategy here. What we can do next is we look at the current price. I'm sliding this. The current price is not changing. What it's doing is it's changing the minimum and maximum here. We'll notice these numbers changing as we slide it back and forth. I'll reset that price back to the middle. The other way you can modify your range is by changing the minimum and maximum price directly. So I enter it there, click off of it, and it resets it there. Minimum price is now 10. Maximum price, we can change that to whatever we want. And I actually should have set that as a negative. Negative. Oh, yeah. You can't do a negative price. It's negative on the percentage. Sorry, guys. Let's reset this. Let me start over. Okay, so minimum price, maximum price. We can set this to a different percentage. That's generally whatever I do. Let's change that. And that there. We'll notice that the number of bins required to create that position will automatically adjust. You can't change this, but you can change the price or the percentage that you wish to create that. The default for a single position is 69 bins. You can go over that by changing that right there. The maximum number of bins for any single position is 1,400. Let me show you guys a different pool. Actually, there was one out there. There's a Trump 2. Okay, 100, 1%. That seems to be the best performing one right now. I actually have a position open here, but I'm going to create a new position. Show you guys how to do this. So I'm going to go in, actually one-sided, a small amount. And I'm just going to add liquidity. But before I do, I want you guys to pay attention to this. This is very important. It's telling me here how much SOL I need to create this position. Unlike the DAM V1 and the DAM V2, you do not get an LP token. You do not get an NFT. This interacts with the Solana blockchain itself. That requires rent to create this position. It's refundable because whenever you close your position, it's destroyed. So therefore you get that rent back. So we see here, it's telling me how much SOL I need to create that position. Okay. And for a standard one, not over 69.70, it's going to be this much, 0.057. If we click on this, it'll give me a breakdown of what I'm paying for right here. Okay. So we can see that. Okay. Now, if I was to change this to something crazy, didn't do it. Say we want to go up 200%. Still didn't do it. 300%. All right. I'm going to go wild here. Wow, people have paid for a lot of bins here. Okay. If you are depositing liquidity into a price range where none has ever existed before, you will have to pay for bins. Let me see if I can give you guys a better example here. Here's a bad pool. We go to add liquidity. Went on. And we can see here we go. We see a non-refundable fee now. We're needing to create 2 bin arrays. Why? Because no liquidity has ever been deposited into this price range before. So the bins don't exist yet. So it wants to create these bins. Because like pools, bins can't be destroyed once created, that rent is not refundable. You don't own the bins. If you pay for bins, then you paid for them. Anybody can use them. So I'm telling you this because I want you to pay attention before you do any deposit. Anytime you add liquidity, please pay attention. If it says non-refundable, you will never get that money back. It may be worth it for you if it's a good pool and it's fresh and all that. Just be aware of what you're paying for. It's 0.07 SOL per bin array, and it's usually 2 bin arrays. So just pay attention to that, guys, before you do it. Okay. All right. Let me actually, I don't want to deposit in this pool because this is a bad pool. I'm going to go back here. And I'm going to add this position 0.1. And this time I'm actually going to use the bid ask just for giggles. I'll hit add liquidity and approve. I didn't change the price range on this one. I just went with the standard. And it was this wide because of the bin step. 100 bin step would cover more range, right? If you remember, if I had picked a smaller bin step, this would be much smaller. If this was, say, 20 bin step, it would probably be only about 12, 13% on the downside. Okay? But anyway, I have liquidity in here. I have multiple positions. You can create as many positions as you'd like in a pool. This is not stacking. This is multiple positions. They operate separately. While you can claim all the fees that you've earned on all positions at the same time, they are wholly separate. Here's one that's been going since this morning. I only have a tiny bit in there. You can see it was on a bid ask. It's gone down a little bit. I've got some fees. So I can claim these fees. And there you go. I've claimed some fees. Yay. We're going to talk tomorrow about what to do with these fees. There are several options, but you can at any time add to an existing position. Okay. Let me give you another example. Let me create a new position and show you exactly that. I'm going to show you stacking strategy now. Okay. 0.1 SOL. We're going to stay with the spot. I'm going to add a little bit of upside just so that the visual looks better. Now note that the more bins that you create, it may require more refundable rent. Just pay attention to that. But again, you'll get the money back. Okay. All right. So I've got a new spot one-sided position here, and that's weird. But now I want to stack it. Say I wanted to add some bid ask to this. So let's just say I wanted to do 0.05 into a bid ask. I change my strategy there. And then I add liquidity. And there you go. Why does it look weird? It's because the price moved a little bit when I was depositing. It's using something called Jito bundles to package all of these transactions together, especially the higher than 69 bins. It's going to require more. It's like 250 bins. It's a bunch of Jito bundles. The idea there is packaging transactions together so that your deposit goes in together. Sometimes it acts weird, and so you'll get a funky shape. But regardless, I have a stacked strategy now of spot and bid ask. That's how it's done. I can see the price is going down. Some of my SOL is being converted into the Trump token. And there you go. Okay, so great. We've covered deposits. Now we talk about a ton of options with withdrawal. So we're going to click on withdraw button here. We got a lot of choices. Now, the very first thing is you're done. I want to close out. I don't want to change anything. You can hit withdraw and close position, and that's that. And I'm going to actually do that on this one down here. I'm going to hit withdraw. It's going to withdraw my liquidity, claim any fees, close the position, and give me back my rent for that position. Okay. It'll take a second to refresh, but it's done. Okay. I see Jito bundles completed. My transaction went through, and now the position is gone. All right. So now there's some other options here, guys. You don't have to choose 100%. Let's say that you only wanted to pull out 75%. Once you choose something other than 100% of all the tokens, you're just withdrawing. You can't close. Okay. You can change this number to whatever you'd like. It just has to be a whole number. The other thing that you can do is say, I only want to pull out the other token. So you can choose just that one token. Give me all of that. Now you see here, it's telling you how much it's pulling out. If there's any of that token along with SOL in the active bin, it'll pull that little bit of SOL too. Here's the visual for you guys. Expand the bins. Now what's cool here is that you can actually choose a range to extract. Let's say that I only wanted to pull out this soul right here, I can do that by selecting just that soul, and I hit withdraw liquidity. And there you go. I pulled out just that soul. I can do a percentage there with that option. I can say go here, pull out 10% or 25%. It's going to shave a little bit of that off. Now, there may not be a reason to do exactly what I just showed you, but the point is that you can. You can do whatever you want. You can make all kinds of shapes like that. What you can't do is say, give me just the liquidity from this bin and this bin and this bin. You can't deposit just into this bin and none of the others. That's not a choice. Another option to withdraw is the zap out feature. Okay. So let's say that I want to withdraw and have this automatically swap all of one token for the other. You choose the zap out function. So we see that I'm pulling out 3,900 Trump 2 tokens and that much SOL. I say I want to receive only SOL. If I withdraw the liquidity, it's going to pull out all those tokens and it's going to swap the Trump 2 for the SOL automatically. There is a 250 bin limit on that. So if your position is over 250 bins wide, you can't use the zap out unless you reduce this down to less than 250 bins. Okay. So I'm just going to do this here. We also see here on this, there's an auto option. You can have it swap directly only with the pool, or you can tell it only swap with Jupiter. Auto is going to give you the best price, whichever it is. But I'm going to do my zap out, hit withdraw and close. I double check to make sure. I hit approve. I probably actually lost money on this position. But that's neither here nor there. Any fees would have been converted as well. Okay, so now that's gone. And I don't have all that, right? It's all been converted into the other. Okay. So that is deposit withdrawal. Now I'm going to show you guys a few other very important features. We have here this little button, these settings here. We can see liquidity slippage and swap slippage. The swap slippage is setting your tolerance for swaps within the pool itself. Because again, you have this swap feature here, which again, we don't recommend you use that. Liquidity slippage is saying, because whenever, say you go to deposit, if the price moves between the time when you said deposit and that transaction actually landing, that's slippage. This defines how much in percentage you're willing to accept in slippage. If you're having trouble depositing and you don't really care that much, then you can set this higher to some accessible or better amount. It's really, you only see that kind of thing with really volatile tokens. But you set that to whatever it is that you're willing to accept. The other options up here at the top, we have the gear icon. You can choose a different RPC. If things are running slow for you, open this up, see which RPC is giving you the best times, lower the number, the better. If you happen to have your own custom RPC, you can enter it here, but I'll go in here and I'll change it. You just click and it'll switch your RPC. It just kind of helps get transactions through if you're having trouble. The other thing that you have here is your transaction fee settings. With the DLMM, it's always going to use Jito bundles. You can't change that. It won't let you. But what you can change is the priority level, fast, turbo, and ultra. I always go with the lowest setting that I can get away with, because whenever you use the faster ones, it's going to cost you more in SOL for that transaction fee. Okay. So set that to whatever it is. If you're having trouble landing, then you can increase. When you're depositing with the DAM V2, by the way, you can choose priority fee only or mix, and mix is Jito and priority fee. The fee mode, max cap or exact fee, you can set the maximum amount of SOL that you're willing to spend for any given transaction. If the network is congested and it's going to cost, that price of transaction has gone up, if it goes above your max cap, the transaction will fail. Increase this only if you need to. I set it the lowest that I can possibly get away with. I start with 0.001 SOL. I only increase it if I have to. There is an exact fee. That means that you will spend this amount every time, no matter what. There's not a whole lot of reason to do it. The network would have to be extremely congested for me to set that, but I'm not going to do it. And then finally, we have the notification bell up here at the top. You sign the message, cost nothing. But what we're looking for is it's going to notify you when a DLMM position is out of range. Okay. So now it's not really telling me which one, and it's not telling me if it's on the up or down, but it'll tell me that. You can have it tell you in the app. You could have it tell you on Telegram or send an email. There's also a new type here, the general broadcast. So if they're sending out information to everybody, which doesn't happen very often, you can have that on the general broadcast for that. So that's what it's telling me. Now, explain something else to you guys again. We talked about it before. Right now, I'm in range. Okay. If the price of Trump 2 goes up above this, then I'm out of range and I'm no longer earning fees. So as long as I stay within this range, I'm earning fees. If it goes up or down outside of range, then I stop earning fees. Okay. I'm going to show you guys the portfolio. This is where you can see all of your positions in one place. You can see if you've got any unclaimed fees on a position. If it's in green, you're in range. If it's in orange here, you are not in range. You are no longer earning fees. You can see the current price of the pools, all that good stuff. You can also see, so these are DLMM positions, and then this is dynamic V2 pools positions. I'm actually going to kill this one right here. We made about 12 cents on this. Hooray. Draw. Okay, profit. And we can see that it went away. Okay. Let's go in here. I've got two positions in this particular pool, and we see this triangle is telling me this one's out of range. We can see how it's sitting there. This one, the price dumped. All of my SOL got turned into ore. And right now I'm waiting, hoping for a pump. But right here in the second position that I opened to help offset those fees or those losses, it is in range and it's earning me fees, albeit slowly. Okay. All right. So that's adding, withdrawing, all of those functions. we're going to, I don't think I missed anything. Photon will tell me if I did.
No, sir. You always have the smoothest delivery in the planet, bro. You make it look easy.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, time to scan this QR code. This is the test. If you want to graduate this course, start here. Scan that. We do not share this in Discord or anywhere else. We want you to watch the video. So scan this now, save it, take the test later. This form is open only for 1 week after the end of the live session on day 2. Okay. So those forms will close November 23rd at 7 p.m. UTC, whatever that translates into for you. After forms close, then I start grading forms. Okay. Give me a few days to get that done. And again, a reminder that you must pass day 1 in order to pass day 2. If you've done boot camp before and you already have the boot camp trainee role in the Meteora Discord, you don't need to repeat it. But if you don't have that role already, you need to repeat it if you want to graduate. Now, this is also something that people get confused on. There's 2 different roles. There's LP Army Private, and then there's LP Army. LP Army Private is earned by graduating boot camp. It doesn't give you any airdrop or allocation or anything like that. It may give you access to certain channels and privileges in the LP Army Discord, but it's not going to give you any money. Okay. The role called LP Army is a great honor given those people who make significant contributions to the community. Okay. Let me give you guys some context. The LP Army private role, there's like 16,000 people with that role. The LP Army role, there's less than 250 people with that role. So it's not easy to get. So yeah, that's that. All right. So I think that's plenty of time for that. I'm going to move on. We are almost done and almost out of time. Again, our 2 Discords, they serve 2 different purposes. Meteora Discord is about the product. If you need help with the product, this is the place to go. You want to debate the price of Met, this is the place for it. We have some international communities. You can find them and find people there. Maybe there's like, if you speak Chinese, you can find the Chinese community there, French, and so on and so forth. It's also a place to give feedback to the team on the product itself, things like that. Okay. Now, the LP Army Discord, this is where you get the alpha on tokens. You can talk about boot camp in here, push your wins and losses, just get strategy about the token or different tokens or LPing in general. That's what that Discord is for. So it's 2 different things. And so it's time for questions. At 7 p.m. UTC, which is in about 20-ish minutes, I will be starting up the boot camp stage in the LP Army Discord. And it will be live Q&A for you guys and anybody else that has questions about anything that we've covered in boot camp or the LP Academy. Love to answer them. Okay. All right. Yep.
Seems pretty quiet in chat.
Yeah. Either I did really good or I put them to sleep.
You're a boss, man. You make it so smooth.
Yeah, well, I've done it a few times.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. So I'll go ahead and call it. I don't see any questions rolling through. So here's those bootcamp resources again. Again, feel free to join us in the LP Army Discord. You will see the bootcamp stage start up right at 7 p.m. UTC. You can come in if you want to get on stage and explain your question in voice. You're welcome to. If you want to use the chat, you're also welcome to. We are going to be here for you. We're going to limit it to 1 hour, less if there's any questions. So that's that. Okay. I saw some lag a few times. Was this laggy for you guys at all? Did I lag on you guys? I saw my virtual background stutter a little bit.
I saw a little bit, like maybe 2 or 3 seconds, but then it returned to normal and it kept going. Maybe it happened 2 or 3 times. That's it.
Was the audio good?
Yes, the audio was good.
All right. Let's see, my good buddy Alex is back. What's up, Alex? He's come to unrug us. Okay. Well, no questions. So, Photon, thank you for joining me. Alex, thank you for joining me. All of you out there, thank you for joining us today. Appreciate you. We will see you in the Discord maybe. And otherwise, we will see you tomorrow for day 2, where we get into the more advanced stuff. So again, thank you for joining us and have a good one.